Hello, everyone. My name is Robin McKinney, and I'm going to talk to you today about generativity versus stagnation, which is the seventh stage of Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. This stage takes place during middle adulthood between the ages of 40 and 65. During the time, during this time, adults strive to create and nurture things that will outlast them, often by parenting children or contributing to their communities and their neighborhoods and just people in general. Generativity refers to making your mark, making life happen, and just seeing the world through the eyes of a caring person is making the world a better place. Stagnation refers to failure. It's a lack of contribution. These individuals may feel isolated, disconnected, or uninvolved from the world or from their communities and society. So I chose to do my oral presentation on Mrs. B. I'm going to call her Mrs. B just to preserve her privacy, although she said she didn't mind if I said her name. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Mrs. B. She's 80 years old. She was my neighbor on my old street in my old neighborhood growing up. She literally lived 2 houses down from me. She's the mother of 2. She has an adult male and adult female child, and she has 2 grandchildren, ages 11 and 13. She did have a son that passed away in 1976. She was married, but her husband is deceased, and she's been a widow for about 23 years. She was one of the nicest people on the street. Everyone loved her. She always cooked, and you could smell her food from outside. And she didn't hesitate to share. She always came out and said, have some. And of course, as children, we come running to get what she had. She's a retired teacher, and she graduated with honors. She has her master's degree. She also had done volunteer work, and she even, because her cooking was so good, I'm just going back to that. Her cooking was so good that the grocery store asked her to bake pies, and she did. At our local grocery store, she used to bake the pies for them. But she used to, she's retired, but she used to teach elementary. And, she talked about how she loved her job. She moved to Cleveland from Mississippi in 1957, and she was the youngest of 8 children. Her husband, who's deceased, was a pastor of a church, and her religion is Baptist. So now I'm going to talk to you about the developmental stage with grief. I'm going to talk to you about some of the challenges that she faced, and it was during this developmental stage. So the major challenge that she faced was losing her son. And during that time, she had a string of deaths that took place. So in 1976, at the age of 40, her father passed away in March. Her mother passed away in April. Her brother passed away in June. Another brother passed away in May, get that. And her sister-in-law passed away in July. So that's March, April, May, June, July. Immediate family gone. And November of that year, that's when her son passed away. He was 16 years old. She talked about how she was afraid at that time to even go to sleep because she was afraid when she woke up that she would hear bad news again that someone else had passed away. She really suffered during that stage. She said she became so depressed. She had to take a leave of absence from work, from teaching, because she was just having a hard time, rightfully so. And she did say that she still feels pain, and when she sees football, she doesn't watch football now because that was one show and one sport her and her son used to share together, and since he passed, she just can't seem to watch it again. But so she went through a trying time. So on the other hand, some of her major accomplishments were that she did graduate college because she was the youngest of 8 children, and she put herself through college because her family was not able to afford to send her. So she worked full-time and earned her bachelor's degree and went on to earn her master's degree. She graduated with honors. She was highly acknowledged and recommended at being a teacher, highly known and favored by her colleagues. She won numerous awards. She also taught voice on the street. She also tutored neighborhood kids. I was one of them. She would tutor us and never charged. She also would take children to school because she didn't like to see young children walking, and especially during the winter months. So she feels very proud that she was able to contribute in other people's life. So one of the psychosocial crisis that she experienced during that time, that developmental time, during that stage, was when her husband passed away. She started to experience trust versus mistrust. She started to recognize the true motives of friends who she felt was friends. She was able to see their true motives and their intentions. Because she talked about when her husband passed away, it seemed that all of the friends that she thought she had, they turned their backs on her. They turned their backs on her. They wasn't calling her. They didn't talk to her. They totally did a complete change. And it left her confused and hurt and distraught because she just lost her husband and at the same time losing some of her closest friends. So she decided that that she wanted to do something about that. But again, she was hurt because these were the people that she sang in a choir with, she prayed with, she mourned with them during their time of need. And now she's experiencing betrayal. During that time, she talked about, at first she experienced anger. This anger caused her to meditate on evil things. She quickly realized that she was not exhibiting a godly behavior because her foundation has been religion. She then decided to read her Bible, and she said that it was like she heard a voice that was God that told her to anoint herself. And she said she grabbed the oil and touched her head, touched her body, and she began to go into prayer. And as she prayed, she said somehow the anger and the disappointment that she felt began to just go away. I was just so intrigued as she was telling this story, and I'll be back to finish it.